Standard 4 EVS 1. Good afternoon, my dear children. Nature is so beautiful, but sometimes it causes great disasters. So today we are going to learn a new lesson, which is natural disasters. Now, first, let us understand what is the meaning of natural disasters. Any sudden natural event which may cause loss of life and damage property is known as natural disaster. In simple words, disaster means a very serious event that causes injury or death of people or animals, when crops and property is destroyed and houses collapse. But it's happening naturally. Many a times we hear of serious accidents like an earthquake, hurricane, flood, fire, tsunami, storm, typhoon, etc. We also hear of a landslide or a hailstorm. Now, these are all examples of natural disasters. In these incidents, people are injured, some lose their lives, houses collapse, animals die, crops are destroyed, and properties are damaged. Because of all this, the day-to-day life is disturbed and it takes several days for life to get back to normal. Now, we do not have enough knowledge about when and where they might happen, and it is impossible for us to prevent them. We must not get frightened by such disasters. Instead, we must find out how to face such situations. Now, the first natural disaster which we are going to learn about today is the untimely rains. In our country, we get rains only in a certain period of time. And so, the rainy season, which is also known as monsoon season in Maharashtra, is from June to September. Now, the day before the rainy season starts, the sky suddenly gets covered with clouds. There is lightning and thunder. It rains heavily for a short while. Now, this is called as the pre-monsoon showers. However, when it rains at other times besides the monsoon or pre-monsoon period, it is said to be untimely rains. Now, this untimely rain comes all of a sudden when we are not expecting it. People who are out without umbrellas or raincoats have to run seeking for shelter, otherwise they will get wet in the rain. Now, these untimely rains can also cause serious damages. Let us see how. People grow winter crops, and occasional light rains are good for the crops. But if it rains too much, water gets collected in the fields, causing the crops to rot. That is, the crops will get destroyed. Now, with this untimely rains also comes hailstorm. Hailstorm is a weather condition where hail, that is, small pieces of ice, falls to the ground. This can cause injuries to people and animals because it is like stones are falling from a great height. It breaks the roof tiles and can damage crops in fields and floods. Sometimes during the monsoons, it rains very heavily and continuously for 3 to 4 days, due to which the level of water in the rivers rise, which leads to floods. In simple words, flood means overflowing of water from rivers, canals, etc. Now, if it continues raining, then the houses near the banks of these rivers will also get flooded. Mud houses will collapse, that is, it will fall. People and animals may die. Everything will be destroyed. All this leads to a lot of problems in everyday life. Now, you must have heard or seen in the news that during the rainy season, it gets flooded in the low lying areas. So, we should go to a safe place which is at a height and come back only when the flood water reduces. But remember, it is very dangerous to swim in flood waters because there is current in these flood waters which is very strong. So, you must be careful. Earthquakes. When you throw a piece of stone in a pool of still water, you see circular ripples around it, like you can see here. They move to the edges of the pool. After some time, these waves settle and the water becomes still as before. Exactly the same kind of waves are produced inside the earth. Same way, deep down the rocks move, due to which waves are produced in the layers of rock. For a few seconds, the ground shakes, and that is what we call an earthquake. Then everything quietens down again. Now, when these earthquakes occur, buildings are shaken. Things inside the house all fall from their places. Houses that are not strong enough simply collapse. People get trapped under the heaps, get injured, or even lose their lives. It also causes injuries or death of animals. Now, the most damage occurs near the center of the earthquake. Now, an earthquake actually occurs for only a few seconds, so one should not panic. During that time, heavy things around us can fall, causing harm to us. So, as soon as we feel the earthquake, we should go under a strong bed or table, or stand under a door frame, which will prevent us from injuries. Do you know? Now, if an earthquake occurs while you are at school, sit under your desk or bench. Once it stops, move out in a single line and gather together in the open ground. Tsunami. If the origin of the earthquake is in the sea, it produces big sea waves. That is, each wave is the height of a 3 or a 4 floor building, that high, and it comes with full force from the coast into the land. Now, these waves are called tsunamis. Now, if there are people living on the coast where a tsunami occurs, it causes a lot of damage. People or animals who come in the way of these waves drown and die. Now, a tsunami comes with so much force that vehicles on the coast, along with the people in them, are thrown away to quite a distance. Vehicles are crushed and the people inside get injured or die. The tsunami shatters everything on the coast. Do you know? In every city and district headquarters, there is a fixed drill to be followed in case of a natural disaster. Now, for example, my dear children, if you remember in your standard 3, we had a drill on fire. You all went down in a single line to the basketball court, and the volunteer showed us how to use a fire extinguisher. Now, the volunteers are specially trained for that purpose. But if the situation is not under control, then soldiers of the army are also called for help. So, these are some of the natural disasters. This lesson is taught to you so as to make you aware of the various natural situations that can occur and how to prevent the loss and not to panic or to get scared. My dear children, I hope you understood the lesson. Fill in the blanks. Circular ripples, like the ones we see in water, are produced in the bowels of the earth. In Maharashtra, earthquakes have occurred in Koina in 1967 and Latur district in 1993. Answer the following questions. Explain the term natural disaster. Natural disasters are serious mishaps like earthquake, flood, storm, lightning, landslide, or hailstorm. People or animals get injured or die. Houses collapse. Crops and other property is destroyed. Explain untimely rain. When it rains at other times besides the monsoon or pre-monsoon period, such rain is said to be untimely rain. How does a tsunami affect vehicles on the coast? A tsunami comes with so much force that vehicles on the coast, along with people in them, get thrown away to quite a distance. Vehicles are crushed. People seated inside them get injured or die. This is how a tsunami affects vehicles on the coast. Ill effects of hailstorms. Severe hail causes injuries to people and animals. It shatters roof tiles. It can damage crops in fields and fruits in orchards. Ill effects of floods. Mud houses collapses, trees get uprooted, etc. People and animals may die due to drowning.